Matt, I have to say that because he has just been going on and on and on and on. And he speaks about CNN and BBC and the media in Dominica and this and that and this and that. I mean, it seems we have to go for the matter. It is time we take that matter further. We have to take that matter further. It appears that very soon we will not even be allowed in the court because the court belongs to the judge and the judge wants us to write what he wants us to write. I mean, and I said to him, I am trying my best. And in a little while, we will come to his sentencing. Because when he sentenced people, when I explain the situation, I do not have control of what people say. I also do not have control of what people write on DNO.
I think, I mean, I've not been in the court, but I can understand, if you will, Carlisle, why the judge may be saying some things. I think it's a misunderstanding of what it is. If you report as a reporter, you have to report everything in the court and everything said by the judge. But as it relates to the public's opinion on sentencing, that's a completely different matter that the media has no control over.
And he needs to understand that. In fact, I will give you the exact words I used to him. I said, George, you are too fidgety. He said that, John Baptist, I have to be. I said, George, you need to leave those things alone. Those were my words to him, my exact words to him, together with Mr. George Bell at the bailiff, because whenever he meets me, he would either meet me with his clerk or with the bailiff. Those were my words to him. He said, if you don't understand, get somebody to explain to you. And he goes on and on and on. And he's attacking, he will hold somebody in contempt of court and.
Well, I hope he doesn't hold you in contempt of court this morning. But I understand just what you're saying, Carlisle. It's a different thing about an opinion. I trying to explain that to people on a number of occasions. And if the judge sentences somebody and they're not happy, they have every right to express their view. And I've heard other judges from the OECS say just that. I mean, people have a right to express their opinions.
But of course. And now let us get to the situation of sentencing. He sentenced this Clarence Lewis. Clarence Lewis he pleaded guilty for the crime of murder of this Robinson lady on November 3rd, 2012. Now, in the mitigation plea done by Clarence Lewis, he used a knife, etc., and he stabbed the lady several times, and he left her there to die. The wound penetrated her heart, and the pathologist report stated that strong force was used. In the mitigation plea, to record that it's a 25-year-old of Grand Bay at the time of the offense. He was from Newton. At the time of the offense, he was 22 years old. Quiet, with unassuming personality. He attended the St. Mary's Academy. He was a student at the State College, majoring in sociology and geography. But I write those things, and I say that because I ensure that when I write or whatever I say it precisely what was said in court. So they cannot go and say that I am saying something different. Okay. There was a social inquiry report, and a very good social inquiry report from the welfare, from the people from the department. Of course, Mr. Lewis expressed his remorse and at his actions. He was very contrite in his act, and if he fully cooperated with the police as it relates to the incident, brought the police to the crime scene, he brought them to the house, he gave them a statement, he told them what he did. So those were all the parts of the mitigating plea put forward by his lawyer. He had a pastor, Hilary Pinard, Senior, who came and spoke on his behalf and on behalf of the family, etc. We also had a letter from Magistrate Gloria Augustus, who the gentleman in question was part of a drama group, joint secondary school drama group, and Gloria gave some comments about him, he being part of the drama group.
You mean Gloria the magistrate?
Yes, Gloria the magistrate. She was not able to come to court. And so we proceed to sentencing. In sentencing, the judge said, and I'm quoting him there, he said, the murder was brutal. The gentleman in question, he was working with the lady. There was an advertisement in the lady, that's Marvelyn Robinson. There was an advertisement in the lady in the newspaper for a helper. And of course, he applied and he got the job. The maximum penalty for murder is life. And the judge said the aggravating situation is that one, the gentleman, that's Luis, was trusted by the deceased. Two, he was involved in burglary at her home. And three, he breached her trust. The only mitigating factor, according to the judge, is that, quote, the guilty plea. And he says there, the actions were unnecessary and he needs to be held accountable. The murder was, quote, cold-blooded. He is not a fool. He is at the Dominica State College. Murder of any form cannot be tolerated. Appears he appears to be one who can get reform. He has a contribution to make in society. Evaluation to be made by a psychiatrist. And he says that the deceased was asleep whilst attacked. Death of a woman who trusted and gave him bread. And then now, he returned to sentencing. He started the notional sentence. Listen well. He started the notional sentence at 18 years. So, the notional sentence of the court started at 18 years. Because he pleaded guilty at the first available opportunity, and he has a 1/3 reduction. And 1/3 of the reduction is 6 years. So 6 years automatically comes out of that. And the balance which remains is 12 years. So the sentence of the court was 12 years to run consecutively with what is being served. He was imprisoned for burglary, and I'm not sure if the burglary, if he had already completed his sentence and so on. So they would have to deal with that. But, the sentence is 12 years after the 18 years notional sentence. So whatever the people say, Matt, the people may not be happy of the notional sentence which started at 18 years, but that is it. The judge started the notional sentence at 18 years, 1/3 deduction for, of course, his guilty plea, etc. And 1/3 of that brought it down to 6. Minus 6, we now come to 12 years in jail for the murder of Marvelyn Robinson that the court described as cold-blooded murder, Matt Pelletier.
Well, Carlisle John Baptist, and that is why sometimes the judge will get upset with persons, because somebody's asking here on the DNO in the comments page, is that all her life was worth? Quite encouraging for those who want to do the same. This reminds us that people in positions of responsibility can still behave in an unpredictable and, frankly, even an uncontrolled way. Court documents show Robinson was killed. That's another comment here. While she slept, and Justice Errol Thomas described the crime as brutal and cold-blooded. In a modern and civilized world, the penalty for meditated murder or any form of murder is usually life in jail. Actually, 25 years in jail as a life sentence. But that's in other jurisdictions. Some people. So Carla, based on the comments I'm reading here, it appears that some people are not happy that he would get that sentence.
That is expected. But if you go back to sentencing, those sentences vary. For a manslaughter, one was given a harsher sentence some time ago, I think it was Justice Bernie Stevenson for Shane the Gallery. I think she gave him 18 years for manslaughter, but that matter is on appeal. For the Corey Polion, another murder, I think he was given life in jail. I think his life, I don't recall. But murder, man, with sentences where judges call them brutal, cold-blooded, etc., and they have a message to send to society. This is the first time, I must say also, that one has pleaded guilty to the offense of murder in Dominica. I don't ever recall that happening. But and this is the first time, from what I gather from the court, that one would have pleaded guilty to murder in Dominica.
So, Carl, maybe it's time we revisit our books in terms of the sentencing, because some people seem just not impressed. Somebody says, sorry to those I offend, but I would use the rope on him. So many of those who kill cherish their own life. Why?
Well, you see that, then now you need to go back a bit. This is murder. We have sexual matters where people were given harsh sentences also. And I have no issues with that. My issue there is comparing the sentence as it relates to other sentences for murder. That is my issue. And when those things happen, you expect the general public to speak about it. Once they do it in a respectful manner. Because, I mean, judges will pass sentences, but people will question their sentences. Even lawyers, when judges pass sentences, question their sentencing, and even the Court of Appeal sometimes come down very hard on some of the sentencing by court judges.
But what were the whispers on Friday, Carla, after the sentence was handed down?
You don't want to hear, Matt. You don't want to hear what were the sentiments expressed. You don't want to hear.
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's what I want to hear.
Well, I'm telling you, it was not. They were not things that were very pleasant, and it was not. Of course, I mean, his lawyer would have been very happy. She did a fantastic mitigation plea, and I must commend her for that. That's Mrs. Yewood Stewart. She did a fantastic job in mitigating. Of course, she would be very happy with the sentence passed by the judge. She would be very happy. But the whispers that came out after that, of course, his family would be very happy also. But people on the side, the whispers that came out were not good. They were not good, and as expected.
Well, I guess based on the comments this morning and what has been suggested as it relates to the sentencing, maybe the judge might not be happy himself. So when you return to court, Carlisle, I guess you'll hear and report back.
I will, Matt, but he needs to leave the media alone. He needs to do his work.
Well, if the media is not behaving in a way that's professional, I would say that he should continue giving the media blows. But if the media is doing its job, then, that's all it is.
Well, Matt, I agree if the media is not behaving in a professional manner. I agree that he has to speak, of course. And so, because he also made some comments some time ago that he had to personally go to Mappin to give them a copy of the Sexual Offences Act. Actually went to Mappin, he said he listened to Mappin News and Mappin had something wrong and so on, and he made those comments. He has also said that his chambers is open. If anybody has any difficulties, come and speak to him. I have been doing that. If they have any other difficulties, go and speak to lawyers so lawyers can explain to them. I have done that too. So I speak to him. I always ask questions, and I always ask permission to go speak to him, go to his chambers if I have any difficulties in anything that is said in court or any other thing. I do that. And the records are there to speak about that. In fact, that is why he called me when he wanted to have the audience with the media, because he says that always want to come and speak with him. So again, the notional sentence started at 18 years, and when you remove 1/3 out of that, which is 6 years, the sentence of the court is 12 years in jail for the brutal and cold-blooded murder of Marvelyn Robinson, aged 76, in 2012, November 3rd, 2012.
She was really loved in that community, Carlisle, and all of Dominica.
Well, may her soul continue to rest in eternal peace.
Carlisle John Baptist, thank you very much. 8:33. We're coming back after this.
You just got into a car accident. Now you have to fix it and you don't have a cent. Don't worry, be happy. Your home got flooded out and you've lost it all. And chances to recover start to look very small. Don't worry, be happy.
Want to live the worry-free life today? Call us at Beacon or log on to beacon.co.tt. Beacon Insurance. Switched on. Sports Wrap, your dynamic, riveting weekly sports show on Q95. The entire Caribbean is listening to Sports Wrap on the big station every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. with renowned veteran sports commentator and retired magistrate Ozzie Lewis, famous cricketer and sports analyst Lockhart Sibo Sebastian, and national athletic coach Emmanuel Oblak. Sports Wrap, your one-stop shop for unique, inclusive, in-depth analysis of local, regional, and international sports, bringing you the best in sports debate and up-to-the-minute information and statistics. Sports Wrap, every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. 2 exciting hours of pure, exciting sports talk. The experts are in the house. Sports Wrap, every Thursday evening, only on the big station, only on Q95. Lock it in.
Here, shoppers, are you ready to shop smart? Well, Springfield Trading brings you S-Smart, a new shopping facility located in the Springfield Trading Complex on Goodwill Road. The smart way to shop is with S-Smart. Come and enjoy one-stop S-Smart shopping and get a large selection of quality products at competitive prices in a comfortable and convenient shopping center with spacious parking, friendly employees, exceptional service, flexible shopping hours, 7 days a week with ATM services on site. So be a satisfied, smart shopper.
A satisfied customer.
Visit us today on Goodwill Road and shop smart now. Smart.
Are you ready now?
Big people party, make the music take over.
By popular demand, the Big People Party Volume 2 returns. Labor Day, Saturday, April 30th, 10 p.m. Big People Party Volume 2, Barrel Gramoon at the much cooler and most talked about old school Barrel Club family Simon and Massacre. Music by the world's greatest dance band, 48 Karat Gold Swinging Stars, Mr. Mix and Prince Waddix. Big People Party Volume 2, Barrel Gramoon. Labor Day, Saturday, April 30th. Partners include Digicel, Q95 FM, the big station, Kubuli, Chebe, South Media, 7-Eleven Plus, Super Center, Louisville, DBS Radio, and more. Big People Party Bal Gramoon, Labor Day, Saturday, April 30th. Swinging Stairs, Mr. Mix and Prince Waddix. Old School Barrel Club Massacre, formerly Simon. Sakai Malalat.
Reaching up to the Red Cap crew. Red Cap massive, you don't know. Not about the fame. Over 40 years we maintain. Red Cap bro. With a brand new look. So smooth you gonna get hooked. Red Cap bro. Forward as we go. It's Red Cap that running the show. All over the country. Estate Limited.
Festival Jazz and Creole de la Dominique. Festival Jazz and Creole de la Dominique, 15 mai 2016, au Parc National Cabritz. Sur scène, Kenny Soft de Guadeloupe, Elan Parle de Trinidad, Andy Narel, Cameron Pierre, Brève et puis Cadence All Stars. Venez et puis la famille, relaxez dans l'air fraîche de Fort Shirley en écoutant les mélodies douces de jazz créole. Présenté par le gouvernement de la Dominique et puis Discover Dominica Authority et Digicel. Une expérience extraordinaire. Dimanche 15 mai 2016, Jazz and Creole de la Dominique. Visitez dominicafestivals.com en savoir plus.
Dominica, the Marigold Development Corporation presents the 10th annual Mayfest, Friday, April 29th to Monday, May 2nd at the Fisheries Complex in Marigold. The activities begin on Friday, April 29th from 6 p.m. with the bar line. Yeah, we going bar to bar, 10 bars to lime in one night. Our last stop is with DJ Flip in the Fisheries. The activities continued on Saturday with the Fruiter National Trail Hike of Segment 7. Then later that evening, Beauty and Elegance will grace the stage for Miss Mayfest. On Sunday, May 1st, we head into Sandy Bay for the Beach Volleyball Festival. Then we head into the Fishes Complex to turn it up. That's where soca and calypso meet Puyo music. Then live from Trinidad and Tobago, the Soca Maestro, Baron, King Jack, Caressa, Soul Food, all these fall by the #1 party band, the Swinging Stars. And on the Puyo side, we have Esa Banton, and the pioneers of Puyo music, the Big Bad WCK. All these powered by Drop DVD, the biggest and cleanest song. And on Monday, we head into the last night bar and grill for our grand family fun day with some of Dominica's hottest DJs. Mayfest 2016 is on at the Fisheries Complex in Marigold from April 29th to May 2nd. Be part of this time. Choose your day or the entire weekend. Action from Friday to Monday. I am that boy.
An interesting report there from the IMF dated April 16th. Former IMF employee for a number of years, Thompson Fontaine, takes a closer look. Good morning, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. What's so interesting there about this IMF report?
Matt, a very good morning to you and to your listeners. I must say there are very important aspects of the IMF report that we need to highlight this morning. One of the things that just struck me, Matt, was the note they made about correspondent banking relationships. They actually warned that that is still a threat for Dominica. And for people not familiar with the discussion, what it is that right now, any kind of transfers coming from the United States into Dominica has to go through a bank in the U.S. So, for example, National Bank has Citibank in the United States that is tax-free transfers. The First Caribbean Bank, all of the banks in Dominica, they have a bank in the U.S. that any transfers must go through. These are called correspondent banks. What has happened in the Caribbean, because of the threat of money laundering and the fact that they are claiming that the banks in the Caribbean are harboring proceeds of criminals, they have started to shut down those relationships. And the report is warning that Dominica is also at risk of that. And that would be very serious because it would mean effectively that we might have to resort to the old ways of sending money, putting money back in envelopes to send to Dominica. And that is certainly not something that we want to see happen, but the report warned us about it. The other critical aspect, Matt, I thought, was the whole issue of the economy and the potential for recovery. We had a discussion, interestingly, in our press conference about the growth rate of the economy, and there was some dispute. There was the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank that claimed that growth would be some 3.2% this year. The IMF is saying that it will be about 1.3%. And that, they say, is contingent or depends upon the grants that were received in the wake of Tropical Storm Erica coming through. So that is not certain because we have some concerns already in Dominica about whether or not our government is able to access the level of grant financing that it can to restore the sectors. An important discussion was with regards to what is happening in the tourism sector, and there is some controversy there because the report claims that the tourism sector is back to normal with operations back at the Marginal Airport. But what the report fails to realize is that the operations at the Marginal Airport is not at the same level that they were a year ago. You know, a year ago there was night landing. We had probably 6, 7, 8 flights of the out of Dominica on a daily basis. Today we are reduced to 2 flights. So tourism is not well, and the report indicated that the tourism sector was back on, that the tourism sector had effectively recovered. So that is questionable. That is certainly a questionable part of it. The other important discussion had to do with the aid bank. And in fact, that's one of the recommendations that we as a party put forward last week to the public, that the aid bank needs to reprioritize and focus on those key sectors in agriculture, fisheries and manufacturing, that especially agro-processing, that can really help the economy. And the bank said the same thing. The bank was in fact asking the aid bank to reprioritize and to service those sectors. And then there was a question as to whether the economy, whether the financial banking sector is on a sound footing. And the recommendation there is that the banking sector is facing some serious issues with regards to non-performing loans, and that is a threat to the sector.
So what did the IMF say specifically about Dominica's economy? Any potential for growth there? Because in one recent report, we were hearing of the possibility of growth of some 3%. They're projecting that. Any mention of this?
Yes, Matt, indeed. The IMF recommended, or the IMF is itself saying, from their own projections, they're projecting growth not of 3.2%, but of 1.3%. And this 1.3% growth, they're saying, will come if the grants come. Okay, so that growth is predicated on getting a certain level of grants to refinance the rebuilding after Tropical Storm Erica. The question is whether or not these grants are in fact forthcoming. So while they're saying that this is going to happen, they also said that into the future, growth will be well below 2% into the foreseeable future, because the tourism sector, the tourism and agriculture sector that has driven growth in the past, they're not going to be at the same levels that they were. They made the point that in agriculture, for example, you need to be replanting, you need better access to the arable lands, and there's a lot that has to be done within agriculture. So they're not very optimistic about growth prospects for these islands. And as we indicated, as the Energy Workers Party indicated last week at our press conference, we believe that growth will be very subdued. There will be very, very low growth going forward. I think the IMF agrees with that view, certainly.
But you're not as optimistic, though, Thompson. I mean, you are on the ground, and I guess you may have a better picture of what is happening. You're not as optimistic as the recent report, and of course, now we're hearing the IMF predicting, less than 2%. But you, Thompson Fontaine, the economist, not as optimistic.
I'm not as optimistic, Matt. I don't believe it's going to go as high as 1.3, 1.5%, and for a very basic and simple reason. Traditionally, in Dominica, the growth in the sector, the growth in the economy has been driven by agriculture and tourism, and to some extent manufacturing, the work that dissipated. We no longer have DCP. So the manufacturing sector is almost completely gone in Dominica. So there's no growth for manufacturing. The tourism sector, let's look at what has happened in the tourism sector. Our tourism is down this year. Less cruise ships coming into the island, less access into the country. So obviously tourism is down. And agriculture, yes, it took a hit during Erica, but it has not been doing well. So I am certainly not at all optimistic. And I keep saying, unless the government addresses the issues within the agriculture sector, we are not going to see any kind of meaningful growth in the economy. And I think the IMF report bears that out. And any impassioned observer simply looking at the numbers will agree with us on that you need to do a lot more work in tourism, one, but also agriculture. And the government simply has not adopted that kind of posture. And I worry about that. I worry about where the growth is going to come from.
And some people, your critics who may be listening, or your political opponents, may say, well, Thompson is just trying to be political.
Matt,
how do you defend that?
No, Matt, well, you know what? I pride myself on being a consummate professional. I don't mix those two issues. I don't mix my profession as an economist with politics. I believe that as a professional, if you want to maintain any semblance of credibility, you must look at the numbers as they are. If the economy is doing well, I will say the economy is doing well. That's how I say it, because I'm first and foremost an economist of long standing. I have done this thing for many, 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 many years, and I will never compromise my professional integrity over politics. I'm simply not going to do it. So when I speak a certain amount of authority. And as I was saying to you last week, I think, not that I'm boasting or anything, but I think I understand the economy of Dominica a lot better than many, many people. Because for 6 years in the 1990s, I was responsible for actually doing those growth projections, for doing it. So I know how it is done. I understand the structure of the Dominican economy. So from both the point of view, as a person working the numbers, to on the policy level, and also to looking at it from different international IMF, from the IMF standpoint. So I have that unique understanding. And when I speak, I want people to listen to what I say. Don't think of me as a UWP operative in that respect. Think of me as a professional economist giving a professional opinion. And that is why I would like the government of Dominica to listen to, not to listen to Thompson Fontaine, the politician, listen to Thompson Fontaine, the economist. And today, the economist is saying that there is a lot more that needs to be done to turn this economy around, and we need greater investment in the agriculture sector.
Where do we start if we have to, begin tomorrow in terms of trying to turn this economy around? In your professional, let's use your professional opinion, forget the political part of it. Where do we start?
Matt, we need to tackle the agriculture sector. And how you tackle the agriculture sector is by getting a robust market for the products, putting in place an agro-processing aspect to this. So in other words, you need to add value. We obviously cannot compete with the large-scale production agriculture. What we can compete on is adding value to our agriculture products. So we need to put some investments in agro-processing, investments in the inputs for the farmers, investments in the access, which we're referring to the feeder roads and so on. Rebuilding our feeder road structure, helping the farmers with inputs so that they can begin to produce And you can get that up very quickly because you have short-term crops. Within 3 months, you can be selling to the regional market. Within another 6 to 9 months, you can begin producing within a factory. So these are things that can be done quickly. So we need to do that. Secondly, within the tourism sector, we need to be able to give some assistance to the hoteliers, and we need to look at the issue of access into Dominica. We simply cannot survive on tourism with the level of access we have today, where you have only 2 flights coming into Dominica on a daily basis. You simply cannot survive on this as a tourism sector. So these are things that can be done quickly, but you need, if you like, an understanding by the government that this can be done. There must be a belief that you can turn this economy around if you put necessary investments into agriculture. And again, these investments are fixing up the infrastructure, getting the markets, not getting them, but getting access to them. The markets are there. People need to be able to access those markets, whether it's through a boat or some type of arrangement, and getting input into the hands of the farmers who will go out there and work the land and begin to turn this around. And once you begin to turn around agriculture, you have the spin-offs for the other part of the economy. So you will have spin-offs in the retail trade, for example, where now much more people with more money in their pockets can now go out and buy in the local economy, help out these small businesses in Dominica. But you need this big push in agriculture to be able to drive all of that for the rest of the economy.
As far as you're concerned, nothing is happening with the economy in Dominique as we speak.
Matt, absolutely nothing is happening. I am disappointed that in the wake of Tropical Storm Erika, we have not seen the kind of assistance coming from the international community. I'm not really sure why this is so, but we certainly have not seen any sustained type of assistance. We have problems now with our procurement. And let me just say, Matt, with that latest issue of the rebuilding aspect of Dominica post-Erika, where you have news hitting the international scene that Dominica has no big contracts on public sector projects. This is not good for the country. We are going to suffer a serious and severe price. Let me say that no creditor, no country is going to give monies to public works and to public projects if there is not free and fair bidding for those projects. Whether it is loan financing or grant financing, they will simply not do it. And the Dominican government needs to be careful that what they're doing is going to hurt them in the long run. They might be trying to help their friends now in the short term by not giving any bid. But in the long term, once the news gets out there, and already I can tell you that there is an effort by some people to inform the U.S. government of what has happened with regard to this no bid contract. So the U.S. government will be aware.
So you're talking about the $18 million contract?
Yes, I'm talking about the $18 million contract for the bridge. This is a very troubling, very troubling thing for me. It's a very troubling aspect for the Dominican public. And I just want to warn very early on that this is going to have serious repercussions for us. We are going to have a difficulty with donor governments giving assistance to help rebuild because they want, you're not going to ask countries to give their hard-earned taxpayers into corruption. That's what is happening there. No country is going to do that. They prefer simply not to help. And I can tell you that there is a price to pay that will be paid by the people of Dominica and by this government for this reckless behavior in the year 2016, where you are simply ignoring your own procurement laws, which says that every single public contract there must be open, free, and fair bidding. That's a basic thing that all countries desire and look for. And the fact that in this day and age we can have it in Dominica, there's going to be a price.
But I heard a government spokesman saying last week, as it relates to the procurements, that some of these institutions would decide, how they want these contracts to go. Can you explain that as somebody who's dealt with these contracts?
Matt, the way it's supposed to be, any type of contract for any public project must have a bidding process. You can define how that bidding process goes. You can define whether it's a closed bidding process, in the sense that you don't really advertise it, but you invite, say, 12 or 10 firms to bid, or if it does an open bidding process. Okay, you can set some limits on that. But the important thing is that whatever process you decide to adopt, whether it's an open bidding process or closed bidding process, that it is free, it is fair, and it is transparent. Neither of these have occurred in this situation. It has not been fair, it has not been free, it has not been transparent. And as a result, I can tell you, Matt, from working with governments that give monies to foreign countries, they take a very, very dim look at that kind of behavior. They will simply not support public projects in countries where the bidding process is not in place, where the accounting is not in place, and where there is seeming corruption in public procurement process. They simply will not assist. And that is one of the reasons why I think for Dominica to recover adequately, we're going to need a great infusion of foreign capital. We're going to need foreign direct investment. We're going to need grants from overseas. We're going to need loans from overseas. And none of these will be forthcoming if the government of Dominica continues in that manner.
And you've just said that a group may be investigating just what is going on to report to the American government? Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, Matt. In fact, I saw something online over the weekend where the government of the United States, through the embassy in in Washington, has been informed of that latest development because people were concerned. In fact, they have been asking their constituents to call their congressmen and women to inform them of this, because the United States has a stake in Dominica's development. The United States Congress has given assistance in the past, the state government has given assistance in the past, and the call is for United States citizens to report to their congressmen and women that the Dominican government is behaving in a way that is contrary to the rules and the laws set out by the U.S. government, and the U.S. government needs to take a second look at giving assistance to Dominica. So that's how serious it gets, and I mean, I see no reason why the government should behave in this way. I think this Prime Minister Kevin should know better. The government of Dominica should know better that in this day and age you simply cannot play with this public procurement. If you have your own money, that's fine. But if you're going to ask people for money to do those things, whether it's for grants or loans, you will need to put those structures in place. You need to guarantee these people's money. And that is not the case, quite frankly, in Dominica. And there is a price to pay. There will be a price to pay for this.
Dr. Thompson Fontaine, thank you very much here. Much concern about, the non-bidding, if you will, of this big contract of $18 million plus to our Barbados firm. We haven't heard the government side of that story. And, of course, we're also being told that the Builders and Contractors Association will be issuing a statement on this very soon. Hello, talk to me there in the morning. 9 o'clock, yes.
Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yeah, Matt, even Mr. Fontaine just mentioned the fact that the agricultural sector need a boost and they need to fix the feeder roads and stuff like that. But with the $18 million, is it a loan or is it,
I suspect it's a loan, yeah.
It's a loan. So what happened to all the monies that the other governments outside gave us?
Do you know how much money they gave?
All right. Now, listen to that, Matt. Now, $18 million, are they going to use this just to build a bridge, or is it to dig up the river?
Yeah, well, part of it will be the dredging of the river and some wall on that river as well.
Right. Now, with somebody, like me that probably did not go to high school, but common sense tell me some of that money is just going to throw away. Why? Because you're going to drench the river from Roseau to the sea, okay? And soon, later down the year, a storm pass and bring down more sand again. Isn't that a waste of money? But
you have to dredge the river. You can't keep it like that.
Yeah, but Matt, if they want to do that, they have to start all the way up where the sand is coming down. Because if right now they take off the sand in Roseau, if you look at that very same river all the way up to Trafalgar, all on the sides, this river.
My brother is to do. Are you suggesting that they should start dredging from Trafalgar going down? You know how much money is involved in that process?
The Yeah, but Matt, if you drive up by Fly City area there.
Well, I'm not the expert, and maybe they know, and maybe your suggestion maybe one they want to take on. But just from a layman's point of view, it's going to cost billions of dollars to do this. Not millions, billions, if you're suggesting that they have to start way, way, way up. Hello, talk to me.
Matt.
How you doing, brother?
Good morning. Matt, it may not always cost millions if you use the material that you dredge. That is the next question. Is this material going to be turned into sand and aggregate and exported? Because that would be a logical thing to do, just like they're doing in the Layo River. So you got to watch that.
Well, we don't know what they're going to do with the, the sand collected there. Hello.
Matt.
Uh-huh.
You familiar with the Rosa River?
I wouldn't say, but I've seen it in operation, if you will.
You don't familiar with the Rosa River. They're from the Polymer.
But I'm familiar. I'm not from Rosa,
So Matt, looking at the Rosa River, Matt, you must dredge the river around the town area.
Yes, I'm saying I think it's important to dredge it now. But somebody suggesting we should start, way up.
You can't start without cost you too much money.
It will cost a dime, yes.
Too much money, so you have to dredge below where it's going to cause more damage to the infrastructure of the town itself. And you have to make you must do that. And a matter of fact, they're gonna dredge it. They're gonna build the walls, and they're gonna build the bridge. So it's three things they're gonna do that $18 million. So
yes, you have to dredge it right now.
You must dredge it and dredge it properly too, so that when those come out from the top. Matt, imagine you don't dredge the bottom and the more come from the top to meet the bottom. What's going to happen?
Oh, boy.
Logically.
that would be disaster, huh?
That would be disaster. But, Matt, let me tell you something.
Yes.
I mean, I'm listening to Mr. Townsend Fountain, and sometimes some things he's saying don't make much sense to me,
Okay.
The agricultural sector, the manufacturing sector. Matt, you remember the multipurpose plant that was supposed to be built under UWP? The multipurpose plant manufacturing citrus.
I've heard about that. Mm-hmm.
There was a guy from Egypt who came under the UW to build that plant. You know what happened to that plant, man? You remember the containers that Jimmy that was loaded with the parts to build that plant?
I'll have to investigate that one further. But okay. you know of a plan that was forthcoming?
Yes, that Peter Carbon was the Minister of Agriculture at the time. Are you listening?
And I'm sure he's listening too.
He was Minister of Agriculture. That guy from Egypt came. You remember the boxing plant at Layo?
Uh-huh.
That's where it was supposed to be built. But when the guy came back, the land from DBMC was supposed to sell at $10,000 an acre. When the man came back on the Peter Carbon ring, they raised the money to $100-something thousand per acre. And that wasn't the deal. When the man saw that, the man left and went to St. Lucia to negotiate something. So under these guys have caused trouble under the arena. They're talking about agriculture. They messed up that plant. That's why Dominica didn't get that multipurpose plant, food plant.
Well, I'm sure, I don't know too much of what you're talking about, but I'm sure Mr. Carbon and others in the Opposition United Workers Party can speak to that. But thank you very much, though. 906, hello. How are you?
Okay, Ati here.
Hey, Ati, how are you doing?
Not too bad, man. Listen, I know you say you're a layman and you really believe that the rivers need to be dredged. I really need to refer you and your listeners to the vast body of literature from engineering companies all over the world that, in fact, dredging rivers does not solve the problem.
So how do you solve the problem, Arthur? Let me know.
Because a river is not just the canal where the water flows. A river is the banks, a river is the catchment, the floodplain, and everything. And you do not solve a problem with a river by starting work in the riverbed. You solve a problem by taking a look at what has happened over the years with the Roseau River catchment area that has caused that river to lose water quickly when in the dry season and to flood quickly whenever we get rain. It is not because the river hasn't been dredged. It is because, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, there used to be lots of big stones and boulders in the Rosa River. But we took those out years ago to use in construction, as one of the callers before was suggesting.
I don't remember that, Athy.
Well, you don't, and I'm telling you. You know, they're all behind the stadium there. There used to be a lot of huge boulders. You know what boulders do in a riverbed? They slow the river down. They are a natural flood control mechanism. That's what boulders in our rivers are. When we take the boulders out, we expose the softer, sandy base of the river to fast-running water. And that continues to deepen the canal. But as the canal is deepened, the stuff from upstream comes down and fills it back up. And the underneath, the banks of the river get eroded. So in order for us to solve our problem, we like quick solutions. We like quick fixes. But there is no quick fix to a river. You have to go back into the catchment and watch all the construction that has gone on in the Roseau Valley. Watch the fact that a lot of homeowners have actually built their homes literally in the riverbeds. In many cases, many homes are built right up to the banks of the river.
But after the question is, though, because we have a serious problem. I mean, if you see what's going on in the river as we speak, how do we resolve this? We just about a month and a half away from the hurricane season. If we keep it as it is, then, you know, we can have a lot more problems. Don't you think so?
Money wisely, or you can do what we've been doing for decades. You can waste money just to satisfy, as you say, what lay people think need to be done. Lay people want to see equipment in the river, clearing the river. That does not solve the problem. You have to start working where people will not even see you working. For instance, in the catchment areas of many of the rivers that flooded badly, Coolibistri, Collyho, and those areas, do you know that those catchments almost have no trees? You have to start planting trees. There's no short-term solution to fixing what you have messed up. We cut down the trees. We built roads maybe where roads should not have been built. We are building homes and houses where they probably should not be built. That's a serious planning problem.
But I think that may be ideal, and I maybe want to agree with you on this one. But you've not really answered the question. We have a problem before us as we speak. The river is, you know, loaded with a lot of sand. And if we allow this hurricane season to come onto us, then we may have a lot more problems. Your solution may be long-term, if you will. But what is the short-term solution to what we speak of? That is the answer that many may be looking for this time, I think. How do we move forward from point A to point B to resolving this problem?
Are you going to let me say something?
Yes,
We're looking for a short-term response, just like a lot of other people. That is not a response. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can either go for it because it's popular to see equipment working on a river, knowing that you've wasted money, and next year you'll have the same problem because you did not address the solution properly, or you can wisely spend the limited money that you have.
But I think that's the answer I'm looking for. So what is the answer for the short-term solution? I'm reading you very, very well, but I'm saying we have a problem before us now. How do we resolve this? That is basically, maybe we're misunderstanding each other here, because I'm seeing a problem before us in the Roseau River as we speak. How do we resolve this?
I'm telling you, what you're proposing to do will not.
I'm not proposing anything. I'm asking you for your proposal as an environmentalist, okay? And I'm asking you for your solution. How do you solve this problem?
I'm telling you, Matt. I'm telling you, you have to. The problem begins in the catchment area, so that is where you have to do your work. The problem doesn't begin in the riverbed. That is where the problem manifests itself. You either want to treat the cause or the symptom. If you want to treat the symptom, get the heavy equipment in the river. If you want to treat the cause in the short term, start employing these hundreds of unemployed young people in planting trees. Start encouraging homeowners to stop paving their backyards all the way up to the river banks. Start planting bamboo along the river banks. That's short-term, Matt. That is absolutely short-term.
But I think what I'm saying is we have 6 weeks.
No, Matt. You have as many years as we are going to be having hurricanes. You know what our short-term problem for this year's hurricane season is? It's not the rivers. It's the fact that you have an Office of Disaster Management with no expertise at the head of that office.
Well, I'm hearing differently. I heard what's his name, Mr. Schillenford, Cecil Schillenford, the disaster expert, saying things are okay at the disaster office. I heard him this morning.
Well, you know, I haven't heard that. I
heard him this morning.
The two heads that were there are not there. I know Mr. Schillingford is associated with the office as an advisor, and he's somebody whose professional judgment I trust. Implicitly, if he says everything is okay, then I rest my case.
Thank you very much. We have to move on. Those 9:13. We'll be talking to Priscilla out of St. Lucia, but very interesting there. Hello, talk to me.
Hello, good morning.
How are you doing?
People of Dominica and the entire world.
Yes.
Sir, the solution right now, Mr. Alfred doesn't say it, but want to see it. But the trenching of the river is important because even we have the higher areas that are devastated by it or whatever. But the trenching of the river is very important because we think it's more income.
Well, but your line is sort of breaking up. Maybe you might try calling back. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, morning again.
How you doing, brother?
Fine. Matt, let us rewind all what we have done in the past. Look at Layo River, Matt. Where did they start drenching that river? In the mouth of the river. How many more years is going to take them to finish drenching that river? Matt, if we start in the mouth of Roseau River, we're not going to fix the problem. You understand me? Because further up, right up where the sand coming down to full that river bank, they have to fix there first and then come down to the river mouth. You understand? Because I see they're going to waste more money later on to drench it again. And that's what I'm trying to say, Matt. You know, the government should think of, where you put in your money. Think of how you're doing your work before you just jump and do work. And the 6 weeks you're talking about is just not enough for before hurricane season. Even if they start the road project, I don't think it's going to do anything before hurricane. If some come or whatever, hurricane season come. I think they just start all their projects too late. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you very much. 4493095, 4493096 and 97. Hello.
Matt.
Yes, Matt.
Let us look at things that people with common sense. Matt, if you don't dredge it, you have a bigger problem. You must dredge it. Whether you have to spend a little money, you must do it. And Matt, you can't start at the top to go at the bottom. You have to start at the bottom of a river to dredge it, where it's most dangerous from the city going up to River Street, up to the sea. You must start at the bottom to go at the top to take out the dirt. I don't know what the seller's talking about, that you shouldn't take it or you spend it. You must spend it, whether you want to spend it. Matt, if your house leaking, what do you have to do?
Fix it.
You're gonna tell yourself, boy, I don't have start fixing it, or I waiting for when hurricane pass, and you're gonna get worse. So I don't understand what these people talking about there. I mean, common sense people talking about long term. What long term that? Matt, you know what's the problem? Are you listening?
Yes, I'm here.
With the dredging of the river, an emergency wall have to build fast. You see, from the first bridge to go up by at least Bath Estate, they have to start building a wall, bring up the wall higher. No matter what you do, even though you dredge it and that river come, it's going to burst its banks because the walls are not high enough. So the walls have to be put up quickly around these areas to protect Bath Estate and Rosewood, Save-A-Lot, all these places. That it must be done. You can run, jump high, low. It must be done because you're going to get yourself in problem if you don't do it. You understand what I'm telling, man?
I follow you.
Common sense must prevail. The money must be spent. These guys are a waste of time, man. Thank you.
Good morning. I don't know if they're a waste of time. You have to respect their opinions as well. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, good morning.
How are you, brother?
And as you said, I'm always listening.
Yes, you are.
Matt, you know, when the guy mentioned that this multi-purpose processing plant left or was not built because we didn't negotiate the land. Matt, the land was given a lease to the guy, so there was no money involved in the land.
So there was no money involved, 100 and something thousand per acre? No.
No, that is just nonsense. Matt, we were also supposed to provide water to the plant, and that's where I think the government came in and they were not interested in doing anything, continuing anything that we started as a government. So the guy got frustrated and he left because the plant was well on the way, the equipment were on the ports, we had served all the surveys, and we were providing water to the spot, to the center in Layu, and the guy got frustrated and he left. But Matt, it's a bigger problem. Dominicans will get what they want. Remember, in 4 years, the number of initiatives we took to build that economy, including feed processing plant in Layu, in Jimit, that was built with equipped, and the government dismantled it and threw it away to put their petrocarrid. You know, we built a breeding unit in Salisbury that was supposed to turn out hundreds of thousands of pigs. That is also dead. They'll give it to somebody. You know, so the number of initiatives we took to fuel that economy, to provide high-tech jobs. We had a tissue culture facility, you know, in Dominica. They take it, they build it in Londonderry and never operated. Now they have to import plants from Europe, you know. I mean, all the high technology jobs that we provide, we plan for to give our young people from college high jobs. What does dismantled? You know, and that is what we really need to fuel the economy, Matt. But if we want to do a fast quick to the economy, Matt, we have to come up with major agricultural projects. Not giving a bag of fertilizer here and there, but come up with a plan for production and marketing. And I mean, everything sells in the market today. Everything. You could get cassava furried in the supermarket in the United States. Everything sells. So Dominica is well in the way to increase the economy by developing projects, well set of projects for production and marketing, and the farmers, give the farmers the support to produce. Matt, thank you and good morning.
Thank you, former Agriculture Minister of the Opposition United Workers' Party, Mr. Carbon. Hello.
Good morning, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Matt, the thing is, the river is no longer a natural river. That river has been contained. And because as a little boy, Lagon, the people will tell you that the river went through Lagon. As a little boy, I remember when they had just built the wall and they were backfilling it, the city dump was where the grammar school or the carnival city used to be. They were backfilling it because they had now built a wall to prevent the river from coming that way. And we now had to fill it. And it took years to fill it till they built the technical wing. And all that became a playing field. And finally Carnival City, and I don't know what it is right now. But the point is, that is no longer a natural river. They have narrowed the river because of the wall, and the water will speed up. So if you don't have walls to protect it, naturally it's going to erode the banks. So putting walls is a must because nobody's going to get rid of Roseau and allow the river to do its own thing through Roseau. So as the other caller, as if one part I'll agree with him, proper walls have to be built to contain it properly because it's no longer a natural river. It is narrow and it's going to run faster. But besides that, Matt, there's still the idea people talk about global warming because this last flood we had from Erica, the debris came from the top of the mountains, even where there was perfect rainforest. You know, even where there was no bad agricultural practice, those logs came all the way from the top of the mountain. If you're flying a helicopter, you will see the scars coming from the top of the mountain, right from virgin rainforest, all the way down to the sea. So this is not a normal thing in another sense, Matt. Good morning.
Good morning to you too. Let's take another phone call. Somebody says here, Matt, the wall is the most important at this time. Hello.
Yes, I want to support the callers at the previous callers. The wall is very important. So I've traveled to Martinique, and it have a canal. They call it La Canal. This is one of the main river source that pass in between in Martinique, and it is just at the back. Let's put it is north part of the town, and it goes up to the mountain. And they have approximately 1 mile of wall from the top. Let's put it, they would take it from Louisville and to run it right into town. And then there we are protected. Whatever debris that comes, it runs between the walls. And that is the only solution, sir. Thank you.
Thank you too. Hello.
Hello, good morning, man. What's up?
All right.
Yeah, I'm just happy that Mr. Peter Carbon, the distinguished former Minister of Agriculture, explained to Big Six what transpired. And I people like Big Six must stop coming on the radio and spreading propaganda. Get your facts, come and speak it. People, you can challenge the opposition, but don't go back 16 years and come back and you still come with propaganda. I mean, that's weak. Matt, secondly, let me make it clear about dredging the river. I raised that point last week. I want to make it clear, very clear, that the first phase of the Rosa River Promenade was done by George Nanton Company. They built a wall at the back of the gas station in Pottersville, to down at the back of Miniers and also Raffles. While they were building the wall, George Nanton Company built a pile of sand in the river, on the riverbed, and diverted the water so you give him some room. That pile of sand is still there. We're hearing about dredging, and he got paid. Mr. Nanton got paid. He never leveled down the sand. And we are hearing about dredging between the Chinese bridge and maybe the Isilo Black Bridge. I hope the government will ensure that George Nanton cleans the river or level the riverbed before they pay somebody else to do it. That is two. And the third one, Matt, we're talking about dredging of rivers and communities and walls. We have a community on the West Coast called Kulibistri, Matt. And like for 7 months, the government of Dominica has totally abandoned Kulibistri. We have less than 2 months to go for the hurricane season. And where dredging should be critical, priority to save homes and lives. And they have not done nothing. They have done a few things, but they have not completed the major work that have to be done in Kulibistri, the Kulibistri River, to ensure that you protect lives and property in Kulibistri if you have a heavy flood or something happening in Kulibistri. Nothing has been done. We are putting the government on notice again. The community of Kulibistri have human beings living there. And it is your right and responsibility as the government of Dominica to ensure that you protect lives and properties in Kulibistri. Thank you, Matt, and good morning.
Thank you very much. Somebody says everybody's just suggesting without understanding what they're trying to fix. Where does the material come from? If there is no material, there is no problem. To deal with the problem, you must solve the cause. The cause is siltation. The more you dredge, the more material will be deposited in the river. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come right back.
Reaching out to the Red Cap crew. Red Cap massive, you don't know. Not about the fame. Over 40 years we maintain. Red Cap bro. With a brand new look. So smooth you gonna get hooked. Red Cap bro. Forward as we go. It's Red Cap that running the show. All over the country. It's Red Cap they talking about. It's a people's choice, baby. Massive. Not my chance, but my choice. Red Cap run, baby. Enjoy it, but don't abuse it. Brought to you by Belfast Estate Limited. Boom.
So, to the 10,000s of you gathered here today, I say I know. Yes, I know many of you are pressed under the burden of debt. It's hard, but there's hope. I have good news for you today. Yes, good news. The folks at Flow have given me a special message just for you. That if you have any unpaid bill or debt from 7 years ago until now, you can be debt-free at last. Flow will swipe away up to 80% of your debt. It's called the Flow Debt-Free Amnesty. So
you only pay up to 20% and you can say goodbye to your Flow debt.
Did you hear that, honey? This is unbelievable. All of our phone, mobile, and internet bills from Flow can disappear once and for all. Just what we needed right now.
Yes, my people. Flow debt-free at last. We can flow debt-free at last. We, the people at Flow, endorse this message. Call, come in, go online, and let us help you wipe away all your bills at last. Flow terms and conditions apply.
Are you ready to experience the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival's 25th anniversary celebrations featuring Shani Sav, Cool and Again, Matt Anthony, and lots more? Well, this year Pizza Hut is making it great and giving you a chance of a lifetime to be part of the celebrations. Hurry down to Pizza Hut delivery or call and place your order. Spend $25 or more. Place your contact information, including your email, on the back of the receipt. Drop it in the box provided, and you and your favorite person can be on your way to St. Lucia from May the 6th to the 9th, 2016. Prize includes travel, event tickets, hotel accommodation, and spending money. And the draw takes place on April 25th, 2016. So get down on it. Call 617-7777 to place your order for pickup or delivery. Terms and conditions apply.
I hear my mother shouting, "Boy, you no good. Why you so worthless? You just like your no good father. I'll beat that badness out of you once and for all. Boy, I fed up if you know." All the violence we do to small children, the beating, the shouting, the putting down, the insult. Is my father not guilty for treating my mother so callous and causing all this anger to build up inside her?
You heard it. The emotional story viewed from the prison van featuring Montgomery Richards. Come to the Arawak House of Culture on Friday 22nd April from 7:30 p.m. to see the drama come alive. Participate in a panel discussion on the root cause of violence, our role in breaking the cycle. Get your opportunity to lend your voice to breaking the cycle of violence. Bring the entire family. Entrance is free. Come learn as we move to change lives. An activity of the OECS USA Juvenile Justice Reform Project, Arawak House of Culture, Friday, 22nd April, 7:30 p.m. Let's give priority to a serious issue.
But if only somebody could save my children. I don't want them to end up like me. God, I am praying for myself now. But send somebody to save my children.
Are you on the go in the USA and need to listen to your favorite radio station in Dominica? You can simply call 1-605-562-5302 in the USA free of charge if you have unlimited minutes. No data, no internet, no app needed. You heard right. Freely dial 1-605-562-5302 in the USA with unlimited minutes and tune into Q95 FM radio all the way in Dominica. You can listen to their 24-hour programming in the USA on your phone by dialing 1-605-562-5302. Have 1-605-562-5302 on your speed dial today. Call 1-605-562-5302 in the USA to listen now and at any time with unlimited minutes. 1-605-562-5302.
All right, the Dominica, we're back here on the hot set. We're going over to Castries and this time and joining our good friend Chris Kilash. Brother Kilash, it's been some time. How you doing?
I'm blessed, brother. Give thanks, Matt, and give thanks for the Dominican people and blessings and prosperity to King Nasio and his wife Helen also in Dominica. It's a while since I have actually spoken on Q95. I think it's the first time in 2016, the year of double blessings. Definitely, I will be in Dominica next week, which is the week of the 26th, I think. And what we'll be doing specifically will be looking at many of the so-called environmental intoxicants that are actually killing off our people, and many things that we have been taking lightly over the years, and we've seen the cancer toll rise in diabetes, increase in asthma, and at the same time, we focus on the foods and actually giving people the herbs. A component that has been ignored a lot is the whole component of the whole aspect of cancer-causing agents within many of the substances that people use on a day-to-day basis. Some other things that we have highlighted over the past couple of months is that even when it comes to the baby products, even Johnson's baby powder, just recently in America, they got actually sued to the sum of $72 million US because the talcum baby powder actually contained a cancer-causing chemical that actually gave a woman ovarian cancer, and she actually lost her life. Her children sued Johnson & Johnson and were able to win the sum of $72 million worth of damages because the court found Johnson & Johnson's baby powder to be actually guilty of having a product that contains cancer-causing chemicals. And it's not only the Johnson & Johnson baby powder that causes the ovarian cancer, but it's also increase in bladder cancer and also the Johnson & Johnson's baby shampoos. And if you hear me well, it's baby, baby powder and baby shampoos also contain the cancer-causing agent that could actually give people cancer. And yes, we focus on many different aspects of how it is that we could be cancer-free. But when you hear about reputable or so-called reputable or companies with big reputations, famous companies actually producing products, healthcare products that are in its own self cancer-causing, we have to really understand and analyze what kind of system that we are living in. When we analyze also the antibacterial soaps and the antibacterial hand washes, in America right now and in the EU, it has these things. In the EU in specific, these things have already been made illegal. You cannot have triclosan. Triclosan as TRCLOSAN. If you just read your antibacterial wipes or your antibacterial hand wash in the washrooms that you go into the disinfectant soaps, in the dishwashing liquids, and all these things that triclosan specifically has been implicated in a drastic increased risk in what we refer to as bladder cancer. And when we analyze these chemicals in these things, that's things that's supposed to be protecting us. I mean, come on. Everybody use antibacterial soap to try to clean their hands and try to keep themselves clean. And the chemical, the antibacterial in the soap in itself is cancer causing. So definitely we will be in Dominica next week, and we'll be having a wonderful time at the Fort Young Hotel from Wednesday, and Thursday we'll be offering consultations. And on the Thursday evening, we intend to give a wonderful PowerPoint presentation lecture whereby we'll be looking at all the cancer-causing substances within the chemicals that within the day-to-day living that we actually encounter, and the phthalates, also the phthalates, which are things during the week I'll be on every morning. So we'll be highlighting particular chemicals and how these chemicals actually give people cancer. And it's not just me, pre-scalers, just shouting or blowing a bubble about it. These things there, the court gave someone $72 million, just because baby powder, and not just any baby powder, the baby powder most of us have on our shelves within the Caribbean, Johnson & Johnson's baby powder, $72 million just because these things actually cause cancer. So when we look around us and we see the increase in cancer, we look around us and we see the increase in diabetes, asthma, autoimmune diseases, most of these things are only just because someone is eating bad, but also the environmental intoxicants, the substances that are found within the environment, and these things come from your makeup. Even many of the makeup that our women actually wear contain parabens and what we call placental extracts. And the placental extracts are actually extracts from the placentas of aborted feces, or from the placentas of sheep or goat placentas or pig placentas. And all these things, they contain what we call estrogens or xenoestrogens that actually cause what we call interrupting, or they call endocrine disruptors. They just interrupt only, they disrupt. Endocrine disruptors that disrupt the whole function of your endocrine system and feminize our young men, make them act like women, and also have our young women also becoming masculinized and having beard and all this type of thing. So we must take account of these things, and I will be going into detail from tomorrow morning on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday next week, whereby we'll be going into detail in the individual substances, what they are found in, and how is it that you could cleanse out your physical structure of all these substances. The people who actually would want to see us before we come next week, they would actually give us a WhatsApp on 1-758-722-3660. That's 1-758-722-3660. 1-758-722-3660. WhatsApp us and let us know exactly what your conditions are. What is it that you would desire from us? So as we will be coming in next week, we could come prepared to actually take care of your problems. And those who want to book appointments early, they could actually call that same number or just WhatsApp that same number and they could book these appointments. Give thanks again for the Dominican people for always welcoming us with hospitality. And as you know, they say things hard in Dominica and IMF and all them things there. I mean, Dominica is one of the richest countries. You know, as the man said earlier on, you have to look into the whole aspect of your agriculture. And agriculture comes hand in hand with health. And they've been poisoning our people with all these poisonous foods all these years, when we in the Caribbean have all the good foods. I mean, it's ridiculous when Dominica have to import carrots from America and oranges from America. And just now it's all bananas and all them things that they are importing. We must actually rejuvenate our agricultural sector and have it in a way that is organic, whereby none of these cancer-causing chemicals are not even our food supply, and definitely will be on the road to prosperity. Give thanks again to the people of Dominica and Q95. Yes, Matt, blessed. All
right, blessed. Priest Kailash there out of St. Lucia will be talking to you for a few occasions in the next week there, or on a few occasions. 9:39 is the morning time. Coming back after this.
Dominica, the Marigold Development Corporation presents the 10th annual Mayfest, Friday, April 29th to Monday, May 2nd at the Fisheries Complex in Marigold. The activities begin on Friday, April 29th from 6 p.m. with the bar line. Yeah, we going bar to bar, 10 bars to line in one night. Our last stop is with DJ Flip in the Fisheries. The activities continued on Saturday with the Fruiter National Trail Hike of Segment 7. Then later that evening, Beauty and Elegance will grace the stage for Miss Mayfest. On Sunday, May 1st, we're heading to Sandy Bay for the Beach Volleyball Festival. Then we're heading to the Fisheries Complex to turn it up. Where soca and calypso mix Booyah music. Then live from Trinidad and Tobago, the Soca Maestro, Baron, King Jack, Caressa, Soul Food. All these fall by the #1 party band, the Swinging Stars. And on the Booyah side, we have Esa Banton, and the pioneers of Booyah music, the Big Bad WCK. All these fall by Club DVD, the biggest and cleanest song. And on Monday, we're heading to the Last Night Bar and Grill for a grand family fun day with some of Dominica's hottest DJs. Mayfest 2016 is on at the Fisheries Complex in Marigold from April 29th to May 2nd. Be part of this line. Choose your day or the entire weekend. Action from Friday to Monday. I am that boy.
St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival celebrates an unforgettable journey with the best of the years, recapturing the most nostalgic moments, creating new magic with Air Supply and Chris Standring, George Benson and Joey Alexander, Cool of the Gang and Omi, BWB and Shaggy are just a few, alongside headliner Mark Anthony. An island party not soon forgotten. The St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival 25th anniversary, April 29th to May 8th. Visit stluciajazz.org. Executive producer, the St. Lucia Tourist Board, platinum sponsor, RBC Royal Bank.
We all need to feel safe no matter what life brings our way. With United Insurance, you can be sure your vehicle, home, business, and other prized possessions are well protected. United offers a comprehensive range of general insurance solutions to suit your needs. And our excellent AM Best ratings says we have the financial strength to protect your assets. Across the Caribbean, we have a track record of helping clients get back on their feet quickly after disaster strikes, providing prompt, professional, exceptional service. So whatever life brings your way, trust United to protect the things you value most. You're in safe hands with United. For more information, contact your nearest United agent today. Call JB Charles & Company Limited at 448-2876, CAM Dupini at 448-3012, or LA Dupini & Company Limited at 448-2310.
You're in safe hands with United.
Are you ready now?
Big people party, make the
Popular demand, the Big People Party Volume 2 returns. Labor Day, Saturday, April 30th, 10 p.m. Big People Party Volume 2, Balgramoon, at the much cooler and most talked about old school Barrel Club family Simon and Massacre. Music by the world's greatest dance band, 48 Karat Gold Swinging Stars, Mr. Mix and Prince Waddix.
There's a party. He's a party.
Big People Party Volume 2, Balgramoon. Labor Day, Saturday, April 30th. Partners include Digicel, Q95 FM, the big station, Gubuli, Chebe, South Media, 711 Plus, Super Center, Louisville, DBS Radio, and more. Big People Party Balgramoon, Labor Day, Saturday, April 30th. Swinging Stairs, Mr. Mix and Prince Waddix. Old School Barrel Club Massacre, formerly Simon. Sakai Malala. Dominica, the most eagerly and highly anticipated concert of a lifetime, is now a reality. This Mother's Day weekend, Amira Entertainment presents the mother of reggae music, the undisputed queen of reggae, formerly of the world famous Bob Marley Ifris, Marcia Griffiths. Marcia Griffiths live in concert on Saturday, May 7th, 2016, Harlem Plaza.
I shall sing as long as I live.
A special Mother's Day Bob Marley tribute.
You can see it.
Ladies come in abundance and do the electric slide. Also the Fanatic Band, RS Digital, Philip Osford, and fresh from Jamaica, Divine Sounds. Entrance $50 in advance, $60 at the gate, and VIP $80, and are available from Bullseye Pharmacy, Miss Spade, Sound City, Guape, Midi Cash and Post, Skitter in the Market, and Island Wide. Marcia Griffiths, supported by Digicel, Talent Inc., Fortune Hotel, Kubuli Big Edge Financial, Astafans Agents for Appleton Estate, Hero Voucher, TBS Radio, and more.
There's a land that
Marcia Griffiths, May 7th, Harlem Plaza. Men, take out your ladies, children, take out your mothers. Rasta men and conscious brethren and sisters. Be part of history because this Mother's Day will never be the same.
It's 9:45. We're taking your phone calls before we wrap it up this morning. Let's take a phone call. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. PLC.
Morning to you.
Mr. PLC, you heard it for yourself, for the king himself. Here is a rich country. But you know, last night my mind just came on King Taylor. And what I want to say, what he's telling us, do we Dominicans don't know that? I was just thinking, tell me come to collect some money from Dominica. From Dominican, sorry.
Your point is what?
My point is, from the time they are broke, they just run to Dominica to collect some money. What is he telling us that we don't know? The few things he's reading, we heard it already. They're white Dominicans, we know that.
All right, so why don't you do the same thing that Priest Kailash does? Are you there?
Of course I'm there. Why is that?
So I'm saying, why don't you do the same thing that he does? And, you know, he's a businessman, he's a herbalist, you can do the same. Just organize yourself in that fashion and do what you have to do. Hello, talk to me, 946.
Good morning, Mr.
How you doing? Yes.
Fine, and you?
Good.
Mr. Mac, I heard you talking about the river. Mr. Mac, when you go going to Mount Prospect, and notice when I was in my 45 years, that river was running direct to in the middle of the river. But I notice now that river hole on your right-hand side coming as a wall and to reach right in the sea. The river don't run in the middle again. Silver Lake, I was crossing that river to go Emsall. And people go in and build on the side of the river. As I tell you, on your right-hand side, that the river running there just like a wall. So before a shower of rain, people cannot sleep. They're supposed to take that from the sea and see the river flow direct in the middle and build that wall, and you will have a safe, people will be more safe, and people, when you're going to build, always make allegation to make sure you don't build close to the river. People want to build even in the river, and before a shower of rain, I cannot sleep in my bed. Was planning to make sure to give you a plan to know how we are to build and when, how you going to build to establish. When you build your house, you say you spend so much thousands of dollars, and now your house went to the sea. You didn't build on solid foundation. And government, I'm not an engineer, but I can tell the government, I got not an engineer, much as an engineer that take a training. I can do, make sure supervise and do a proper job from the sea, and we will have safe, not wasting fun each time a shower of rain. People have to ball and people have to be in a fright. You engineer that train, you have them there, let them do a proper job and let that job, don't let the river flowing on your right hand side as if it's a wall you build. Let the river flow in the middle, so when the river extends now, you will not have that volume of water going to affect people.
Thank you, Carl. Hello. Yes.
Morning, man.
How are you?
Fine. Not have a problem digitally. I would really like you to get them on your show.
With who?
Digitally.
Digicel Play, okay.
I would really like you to get them.
Yesterday, last week, I think I saw the manager, and I told him that we should have a discussion. Hello, talk to me.
Hello?
Yes.
Matt, could you give me the number Prince Kellis gave a while ago?
You want the number that he gave a while ago?
Right, 1758, and what's the rest of the number?
722-3660.
722-366. 366.
3660.
All right, good, thank you.
All right, hello, talk to me.
Yeah, morning, Matt.
How you doing, my brother?
Matt, you know some of the problems we have with this Rosa River and so in Dominica and the destruction of Dominica now is because of the corruption and giving out foreign companies with no chronological or anthropological knowledge of the country to do projects.
Make that connection for me, sir.
You see, some time ago they were building the Loda Road and all these places there, all these places, and when they take the topsoil, they throw it right down in the valley. Because they have no knowledge, they figure it will just stay there. But all these things are the sediments that are coming down in the river today. And these things are multiplicated all over the country. Giving foreign people who have no knowledge of the country and neglecting your public works. Your public works supposed to be like you're supposed to develop your corps of engineers, people who have knowledge on the ground of the topography of the country. And you work within that. We haven't been able to do that for years. We destroy that public works, as engineers, and so en masse. And we destroy public works, so we destroy in our country. And added to that is the corruption. For instance, some years ago in around the community high school up there, you have a church there, you saw baby and wire there. The government had a project to do a wall on the river. They played politics. They gave it to Ambrose George and I think his friend in the constituency because this road was south to build that wall. They never built a wall, Matt. They put some not even Gabian wires. They put mesh wire, set it up on the bank,